welcome.
Thanks, brother.
Welcome to Reform Perspective.
Oh, not me.
Taylor. No, I mean, what do you mean?
I thought you were talking to them.
Well, I am talking. I'm talking to the peoples.
Well, I feel welcome too.
Dude, it's been a minute since I've done a podcast, and so I'm excited to have the great Taylor Treadway.
I don't know about the great.
Man, the theologian.
Nope. Keep going. We'll find
I know you
something.
want to be St. Gregory Nyssa.
I do.
Or is it Nazianzus?
I like Nazianzus.
Okay.
I like Nazianzus, yeah.
But
yeah,
it's
man,
good.
I'm grateful to be here. For the listeners, the viewers, Josiah and I go way back. He was my boss up until recently, and then he got this big fancy promotion.
I mean, I don't know if 2 years is like way back.
We're way back, bro. Back to when I first got to California. So, good friends. I love this guy. Happy to be here. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, and the reason I wanted to bring you on is, first of all, because we're friends, but also we have hilarious conversations.
We do.
Hilarious. And
unhinged.
I enjoy them. I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy your perspective. This is Reform Perspective.
I'm reformed, and I have a perspective. That's right. What is up? What's this desk, bro?
I know, man. I mean, I don't like... Well, what's up? This is the camera right here. But I don't like being that close to you, first of all.
It's all right. I don't smell that bad
I'm not that far away from you anyways.
Nah, you're good.
I think I prefer this
face-to-face. I was roasting him before we started recording, guys. I said, Josiah, why aren't you sitting next to me? And he said, no.
Yeah, because then I'd be like right there next to you.
I know. We'd be like, it's all good. It's all good. This is better. You have an air of authority behind the desk.
It's not really authority.
I don't know. I respect authority, ecclesiastical authority. I respect it.
Well, it's definitely not that either.
I respect it. My bishop, Josiah.
Reverend, bro. Reverend. Make reverends great again. Please make pastors reverends again. Amen. Anyways, man, I'm going to kind of just introduce you a little bit. So, Taylor Treadway, you grew up in Tucson?
Basically, I was born in England, spent the first 9 years of my life.
Hold on, time out. You were born in England?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Across the pond, governor. Yeah. My dad's military. And then we lived in Washington, D.C. for a while. And then when I was 9 years old, we moved to Tucson, Arizona.
So you were born on a military base?
No, I was born in a British hospital. That's why my teeth are jacked up.
That's not why your teeth are jacked up. That's funny. Two of my kids were born on military bases, Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Damn, there you go.
My first two were born there. So you grew up in Tucson.
Yes.
You were involved in church there. When did you grow up Christian?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in a Baptist church since I was like 2 weeks old.
And I can...
You can tell.
Yeah,
oh man. I know. Actually, you didn't even have to like know that, but you knew that.
Yeah,
you know?
Everybody knows it. Yeah, no. I know that you've grown up Baptist essentially your whole life.
Yeah.
When did you start getting like really involved in church ministry and youth group?
Yeah. So in youth group age, I joined the worship team there, and at some point in the summer of my senior year, I got invited to be an intern under my worship leader. His name, shout out Sean Pack. And I came down once a week. He said, I can't pay you anything. I can buy you lunch. And
that sounds like ministry.
No, dude, it was for real. And like I would make copies and, just learn basic stuff. And then I got involved serving in the youth group as a leader. Mm-hmm. And then a few years after that, I got offered a part-time position at Emmanuel Baptist in Tucson as the youth pastor part-time. And then a year after that, they turned it into full-time. And then I took over worship there. So for basically my entire 20s, I was vocationally employed full-time at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Tucson.
And that's where you got your undergraduate degree? You got your undergraduate degree online?
Sort of. A satellite campus of Wayland Baptist.
Wayland Baptist. Wayland is located where, in Texas?
Yeah, Plano, I believe.
Plano?
Yeah, dude, I know nothing about my alma mater. I know nothing about it.
Bro, I've never heard of Plano.
I mean, neither. Stephen still, because I think that's where
Have
it
you ever
is.
been to the main campus?
No.
Okay, so it's somewhere.
They would like email me.
Yeah.
I remember one time they called me once and I said, stop calling me.
Well, it was funny because I actually I got to know your I think it was, who was it?
Is it Dr. Andrew Marquez, great friend, great mentor, and he is the campus director of the Southwest of Wayland, and they're rooted in Tucson. And so he was a Baptist pastor. He knew me. He had known me for a long time, since I was fresh out of high school. And one day he drove by my office and he said, he walked in, and I remember this so vividly. You know how sometimes you don't remember much in life, right? But there's moments. I was sitting in the dark. I was working on like the Pro Presenter slides for worship or something. And he comes in and he sits down next to me while I'm still clicking away, because I'm a rude kid. I didn't even, stop what I was doing. It's horrifying to think about. But he sat next to me and he said, Taylor, you got to go back to school, man. You got to go back to school. Send me your transcripts from Pima.
How old were you when you went?
I was probably like 24.
Okay. So
it's not too bad. I had to be – it felt like it was bad, because all my friends that had graduated, that did it right, 18 to 22, they did it, and like they were already taking off. So I did already feel like I was behind. But
I know, but I was on the kind of the same boat. I didn't go back to school till after I got out of the military. I was already 24 or 25.
Yeah, but you had already done something. I'd like played, I like played League of Legends and smoked hookah. Like that was what I had done with my life.
Yeah, but you were already like 5 years in ministry. Right?
A few years. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's not like you were doing nothing. You were learning. You were growing in something. It was just...
Yeah, I never saw it that way at the time, but you're correct. Yes. And so Andrew, though, gets me back in school. I end up signing up for all the electives that are like Bible related. And he ends up being my teacher for most of them, because it's a small campus. And if you've ever been to a small campus, you kind of have the same teachers for the most part. So anything that was like New Testament related, I took it, and that was what Andrew got his PhD in. And so, and I remember at ETS when we were all hanging out and you got to meet Andrew, and when I had walked away, then he started telling the real Taylor stories, and I came back and you're like, bro, you hated education.
Yeah.
And I'd totally forgotten that part of me. I was so resistant.
Which is funny, because when people talk to you now, you're like a church history nerd.
Oh, absolutely.
You got a podcast with a couple of your friends called Church
History for Chumps. Follow us on Spotify, Instagram, like us on Facebook.
Yeah. And so every single time we sit down now, we just talk theology and church history.
That's right. I love the Academy now. I actually have a high respect for it. I think I was just ignorant. I was ignorant, dog. Yeah. I didn't know.
I think it's pretty much like anybody around that age who is just on fire for Jesus, wants to just do stuff for the church.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't need all that. I don't need it.
Yeah. I didn't. And what's so funny, so I got the bachelor's, and my church immediately gave me like a big raise.
Yeah.
When I graduated. So they did value. They showed me that they valued it. And my boss, my head elder, Steve, shout out Steve Hanna, I love that man. Steve would allow me, if I had a class during the day, it was no question for him. Yeah. Go to class, Taylor. It was all good. So the church was supportive of it. And then I did graduate. And then I remember, all right, Taylor, where are you going to do your MDiv with some of the conversations? Yeah. And I said, I'm not. MDivs are dumb. So I just like reverted. Like I got to like step one. Okay, he's got his bachelor's. And then, dude, and I fought that for like 5 years. Maybe even more or less. It was a little less.
So after your bachelor's, you still fought it for another 5 years to get your MDiv?
I think it was 4, maybe.
Okay. So you were still kind of resistant to like continuous education.
Yeah. You know what I said? I said, all the best pastors I know have MDivs. They're like, yeah, see? I said, all the worst pastors I know also have MDivs. So it's clearly not the MDiv making the difference.
Yeah.
So,
but also it does.
Well, it does. Yeah. It's truly transformative. And so now I have 1 year left on the MDiv at Gateway Seminary, and it has truly been transformative. So and it just naturally sort of happens. If you do the work, it naturally happens. For example, I preached a few weeks ago at church, and my pastor came up to me, and I did not think it was that. it was not my best sermon, supposedly. You know,
yeah.
my pastor came up to me and said, "Taylor, that was your best sermon by far." And my pastor's a really hard grader. He also teaches at
he's
Gateway.
a professor here.
Yeah,
he's
pastor.
a PhD in like Old Testament,
Old Dead Sea Scrolls. Gosh,
brilliant dude.
Yeah, so shout out Anthony Ferguson.
Yeah,
I know how he is as a grader when there's no stakes, when he grades me for my sermons. So he says, "Taylor, why don't you take my classes with me?" Really? Is that hard of a question to answer?
I think it's challenging.
Yeah, well, it's good. He makes you better.
Yeah.
But he came up to me. He said, "Taylor, I give you a B on that sermon. That was your best sermon." He was so happy. He was so happy, and he had pointed out some connections I'd made, and he the things that he liked. I don't know, man. I was just doing what I'd now been taught to do.
Yeah, you were doing your thing.
I was just doing my thing. It was just seminary is transformative. You cannot escape it.
Yeah, well, I think the false notion is that individuals who only get trained in the church are somehow better prepared for the church because they got internal training from the church. But it's like whatever that internal training was, if it was inadequate, you're going to get inadequate training.
You're right.
It's very rare that if you're serving at a church that somehow the pastor is like a superb pastor with like seminary level education is willing to take the time to give you the same seminary level education. It's very, very rare. In fact, I've never really seen one do it adequately enough. So eventually you're just trained in what the other person was trained.
Yep.
And what they
and
were
you're not
at.
as good as them.
I know.
You won't be as good without the formal training.
Exactly.
So it's like I've been having this conversation lately because in the you remember at ETS we ran into those. Josiah and I went to Boston together.
Evangelical Theological Society.
Right. We went to that.
Pompous people. I'm just kidding. It's not
No, we love them.
It was fun. It was good. It was a good time.
And we were talking with people in the convention hall, and some people came by. They were really cool. They were in the apologetics world. They had no formal training, and they had no interest in formal training. Yep. And they were smart though. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that they are the equivalent of dad behind the grill, who's good, dude. Dad could make a bomb steak, right? Dad could maybe
even smoke a brisket. For
smoke
12
a
hours,
bomb brisket. Dad could probably go into the kitchen and throw down on some sick different sides. Yeah. But the problem is Dad's still not actually a trained chef. And so there's this swath of inadequacies that he has, but they never come up.
That's right.
Because you're just doing your thing. And then here's the other thing. Whoever taught Dad how to cook, at some point, you go down the line long enough, there is training. Mm-hmm. There is formal training involved. Whether Dad's watching people on YouTube, those people learn something from. So there's a line of formal training that happens.
Yeah.
And you're never going to be as good as the person who gets the formal training.
That's right.
So if you're good without formal training, this is what I would say to anybody who's like, I don't need education. If you're good without formal training, I swear to you, if you get the formal training, it will blow up. You will.
Yeah, it exponentially increases.
Exponentially. Yep. That is such a good word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will blow up and you will be way better than you thought possible.
That's right.
And that goes for anything.
Well, and that thing about like the YouTube debaters, these social media presence guys, they have a large following, or they can get a large following, like maybe 20, 30, 40, 50,000 followers, right? And their videos get likes, and maybe they make some money on the channel. And so they think that that is what makes them adequate enough to be able to minister to people according to the Word of God, because they have this false sense, this false notion that these people are listening to me, therefore others should also listen to me, but they never are trained. They only have like this one thing that they feel like they're really good at, and actually find that a lot of the times they're maybe good at one thing and then really poor at everything else.
Yeah, well, because they're never rounded out.
Yeah.
They're never rounded out. And then also, all the heroes in that world right now, the apologetics. I mean, people that are like OGs, like Sean McDowell, William Lane Craig.
Yeah.
Dude, they all have PhDs.
Yep. Yeah.
William Lane Craig studied under Pannenberg. Like, there is a line of education to follow. And I'm just saying, it's dangerous to walk away from the academy, and I understand their arguments. They got a chip on their shoulder. The academy is gatekeepy, It is, but it doesn't have to be. Right? At SBL, which is the Society for Biblical Literacy that meets after ETS, they are very much more liberal. But what people don't understand is that if you go to a school that someone calls liberal, you remain conservative, but you're respectful and you do good academic work.
Right.
You are now at a top-tier position to minister to those people and evangelize. Yeah. So no, you're not gonna. You are not going to be allowed at SBL to present a paper on an early dating of Daniel or consecutive dating of Isaiah. Right? In the scholarship world right now, Isaiah is dated across like 300 years or something. Right. Yeah. You're not going to be able to come and say, actually, this is a collection of everything Isaiah did within his time, and here's my arguments for it. Josiah's not going to be able. I'm not going to be allowed to go present that. But you know who could? Someone who graduated from Harvard in Old Testament studies. Yeah. And if his paper has strong enough arguments, they will allow him to present it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's essentially how we met each other. Is like both of us pursuing higher education. You came to Gateway in 2023.
Yeah, I showed up right after you did.
Yeah, a couple of months after I did, but you came in as a front desk, a bellboy.
Dude, I was a bellboy, and I ran the computers for a Zoom class.
Yeah, so that's where you started. But I was already director of enrollment, but that's just because I had already come with about 7 to 8 years of experience from Azusa Pacific University in their enrollment department and then in their nursing department for like program management. So I already had some higher education experience in admissions and I had already gotten my bachelor's at APU, and I was already almost done with my MTS. So when you came in, we started just kind of vibing. I think we clicked.
Yeah, I don't know. We're cut from the similar cloth. Yeah. There's a weird bond between, I would say, Inland Empire and
Tucson. Don't say Tucson. Don't say.
Josiah hates
Tucson.
Don't
say Tucson, bro.
There is, bro. Culturally, man. It's the Mexican influence, I think, a little bit. Yeah. Probably grew up in like similar economic conditions. I don't know. We're both a little salty. A little rough around the edges sometimes. But yeah, man, I don't know.
We both have our collars up to our.
No, you taught me that. Josiah taught me how to dress, and I am not kidding. I'm not kidding. I will always have to give him credit for that, unfortunately.
Well, bro, when you come in with skull shirts and the 2 buttons unbuttoned with a dirty tank top underneath.
Don't be hating on my sugar skull shirt, bro.
Nah, dude, it's funny because that's just literally how we began talking, is just like ragging on each other and making fun of each other. You know, you were working for the vice president for a little while, who is our current president, Adam Groza.
That's right.
You were his administrative assistant. So that's kind of like where you started getting your introduction to seminary administration and also recruitment, because I was giving you small little tasks here and there.
I do remember I was hungry. You could have been like, Taylor, I need you to go down the street and like recruit people at Walmart. I'm like, yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
just get closer to the mic. You keep going away from the mic.
I keep drifting. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
I know those chairs are comfortable, but
I know they're very comfortable. So I did. Yes, I did. That's what happened. I was hungry.
Yeah. Well, it's cool, man, because you're not just hungry for like a position. You're hungry for knowledge. You're hungry for God, more specifically. And so I think that's kind of what I love about you. You know, is that you love the Lord and you love serving His people. And you're committed to the local church. I can't tell you how many times seminarians have come through here and we have conversation. I say, attach yourself to the local church. And they just refuse. They jump from church to church.
I know.
They want to become lone wolves. They want to do their own thing because, you know, it can be frustrating. You and I have been both through church hurt.
Yes.
You have some gnarly stories.
I do. I do, and church hurt is real, and the thing is, though, is just hurt is real.
Yeah.
You know, I heard there was this old black pastor, and I wish I remember who it was. I should have wrote his name down. He was doing a sermon, and he said, oh, y'all talking about church hurt, but I don't hear you talking about hotel hurt, or movie theater hurt, Or, just like listing off all the places.
All the places that.
Yeah, all the different places. Like something bad happens somewhere and but when it comes to church, you're going to blame church. I was like, man, that's such a good point. And he's right, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, people are people.
Yeah.
They're going to hurt you wherever. Work hurt. You don't just, I don't work no more.
I mean, anyway, if only we could, bro.
I know. I get it. There's some gnarly stuff that's happened in churches. And I do think that sometimes something rough happens in a church, and that is your time to leave that church. You don't leave the church.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, how many times have people been hurt by gyms?
Yeah, gym hurt.
Gym hurt. They still go to the gym. Or maybe they get hurt by friends and they still hanging out with friends.
That's right.
It happens, man. I mean, people are imperfect. The church is imperfect. But, anyways, I think that's part of the reason why I think we had a kinship pretty
I
quickly,
think so, too. I think, we're just kind of like similar sort of. But what I like about Josiah is you are...
Don't be gay now.
I'm not going to be gay. You're not afraid to like speak into somebody's life, which is the same for me. And I mean, maybe that was my youth pastoring for 10 years, but especially with younger folks, if I see it, I'm going to tell them what I'm thinking. So take it or leave it. And you don't do that with everything or with everything that pops in your mind, but bro, young people need people. I had people that spoke into my life. And I think people get so weird about, I got to earn the right. And I remember one time, Josiah and I, was early in our friendship, I said something about like, I want to do blah, blah, blah. And you were like, why?
That's like my favorite question ever.
Why? Like your face didn't hide it. Your face. I was like, what do you mean? And then you called me. It was something about, you're like, that's just false humility. I don't even remember the context, but you basically said, you're like, that's false humility. It was about ambition now. It's all coming back.
That's right.
And you were like, just say you're ambitious.
Yeah.
Say you want to be president of something one day. Yeah. And you're like, say it. And I was like, well, if the Lord. And you were like, no, say it.
Well, that's one of like my pet peeves when it comes to ministry, and even when it comes to like career-minded people. We've been fed this idea that if I humble myself and I don't say anything and I just serve my heart out, people will just notice how awesome I am. Because that's really what they're saying. It's like they're going to see how awesome I am, how good I serve, how well I attend church, and then they'll promote me.
Right.
And it's like, that's not at all what the scripture said. In fact, you already know 1 Timothy chapter 3, that if anyone aspires to the position of overseer, he desires a good thing.
I preached a 45-minute sermon once on that one verse.
I know, I saw it.
Oh yeah, I asked you to watch it. That's right. Yeah. That passage, and I don't know what Anthony would give that sermon or not. I really liked it.
Thank you. It was very good.
Thank you. But that passage has so much in it. Aspiration. Mm-hmm. The kaluergon, right? Good work.
Yeah.
Everything in there speaks to the core of what pastoring is and why it's a good work. And then you can talk for a long time about what a good work is. We're talking about aspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to aspire to it.
Yeah.
And I do like what you said about, you're just sitting around waiting for people to see how amazing I am. I do think sometimes keeping your mouth shut can lead to doing good work, and just keeping your mouth shut can lead to good opportunities. Let me tell you this. Doing bad work, acknowledging it's bad, and wanting coaching because you're open about aspiring to something else, right. That'll get you way further.
Yep.
And I know that's not right, but if like any young people are listening, like you will be catapulted to success, because the person that can promote you and bring you up is the person you're going, hey, I did a bad job of this. Can you help me do a good job?
Yeah.
And you're excited and you listen. Bro, people love that.
I know, but you said that may not be right. I actually think that is right. Like, that's the whole point. It's like, you are incompetent. That's why you don't have the position.
So it's like you're not actually as competent as you think.
Yeah, so that's why I think when they say, like, you stay silent and show your competence, But you're incompetent.
You're silent and actually just broadcasting your incompetence.
Yeah, that's like somebody who wants to preach. Like, okay, how many times have I talked to somebody who they want to preach at church, and they want to preach, and they want to get an opportunity to preach, but they're not taking the courses. They're not approaching their pastor. They're keeping their head down. They're sweeping and mopping, and they're cleaning the bathrooms. And they're like, as long as I keep doing this,
dude, pastor's never gonna know. Why would pastor know? He's like, man, I love Joe. Joe is my favorite volunteer. Yeah. That's the best deacon I've ever had.
Yeah,
and then Joe's sitting there for 2 decades going, I want to preach.
Yeah. He's like, why won't the pastor let me preach? Well, first of all, because you haven't made your desire known.
Right.
You haven't made your aspirations known. And so this is just like common sense, at least to me, that I've had to learn because this is what I was taught. Keep your head down, serve. And then the pastor may give you opportunities. It's like, no, let your voice be heard. And then if he says, okay, and then does nothing about it, take some time, give some time to pass, bring it up again.
That's right.
And they may feel like, oh, you're being too pushy. But at a certain point, the one who knocks...
That's right.
will find. The door will be open. The one who seeks will find, right? So I know that that's in reference to God, but just principally.
Yeah, principally. Yeah.
And then in general, you can take that same principle and then apply it to career. If you have an aspiration, let it be known to your superiors. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yes. I learned pretty early on. When I got to Gateway and I started sort of like moving up through the ranks, so to speak. I mean, I haven't moved very far, but hey, I moved up a little bit.
Bro, you moved really far really quickly. That's for sure.
It was like an instant jump. That's right. But the thing is I told people I want
what you wanted to do. Yeah.
I want this, and I got lots of feedback. Mm-hmm. I have so many men and women in this seminary that like pour into me professionally because I just ask.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think there's this misnomer of seeking wisdom from people that you're somehow creating a power dynamic. Mm-hmm. But I actually think that like the wisest people are going to have many counselors, right?
Of course.
So when you're going to so many different people, hey, how do we solve this? Or hey, I had one of the things Dr. Ferguson has taught me recently is sometimes I can be a little spicy. Josiah knows I can be a little spicy, and I think that can serve you well when you know when to turn it on.
Yeah,
it's very powerful if you.
Yeah, because it's being charismatic. It's just being your own person.
Turning the fire on can serve you very well. Jeff Orge does that. Our old president.
Yep.
Jeff Orge will get you. He'll get your heartbeat fired up for whatever he's sometimes. Anyway, but when you just have a minor problem, it's probably not best to jump to level 10. And so Kristen has been coaching me on this idea of introduce.
Kristen is Pastor Anthony's wife.
Oh yeah, she's also my pastor's wife. She's my boss, my pastor's wife. It's very healthy how integrated all of our families are.
She was my boss for a little while too.
Yeah. So we have this idea that I learned: introduce problem, like cast vision for goal.
Yeah.
Problem, goal. What's missing, Josiah?
The action.
Yeah, the solution.
Yeah.
And she was like, let other people that are smarter than us come up with the solutions, and then they'll be willing to own it.
Yep.
And that has blown my mind. And that's all I've been thinking about since we came back to work, January 5th. That's when we had that conversation. Because Gateway's got we'll see the behind the scenes. I don't know how many people are going to listen to this.
Into a Trump name, a Trump voice right there.
Let me tell you, Gateway Seminary
Let me tell you, the people
are saying
the people at Gateway Seminary.
The geese are pooping everywhere. They're pooping great amounts of poop.
We have geese in front of our...
Well, we got a freaking petting zoo. It's a bunch of geese, and you know what? They poop at the front, and it drives me nuts because I have tours coming, and I'm like, the first thing somebody sees when they walk up to meet me is poop. I'm a first impressions kind of guy. It's a big important thing to me.
It's time for goose jerky.
Yeah, dude. We'll make some goose soup. We'll make some out of the feathers. We'll have a time. But all that to say, and I was asking Kristen, I was like, what can I do? And she was like, well, do it this way. And I did it this way, and now guess what they're dealing with? They're dealing with the poop, Josiah.
That's great, man.
Yeah. I took a long anecdote there. I'm sorry.
But I think the point that we're trying to get here is that we're both on this journey.
Yes.
Gateway has been very formative for us.
Yes. Pursue growth. Ask people.
Pursue growth. Be humble. And that's the thing. Is like if you're going to aspire, you're going to make your desires known. Humility has to be tied to it. Because I think what happens is a lot of the times us as Christians, we think that seeking position or seeking some kind of promotion or even power is a negative thing. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily a negative thing unless you want to abuse that power or lord it over people.
Yeah, if you want power because you think everyone else above you is an idiot, then that's probably not a good sign.
Yeah, because most likely you're incompetent and you're an idiot too. Mm-hmm. So it's like when you get there, you can become the idiot that you think you're not.
That's right.
But the point is, like this process of growing. I think you and I kind of met each other when we were kind of already being formed. You have an inclination towards church history, which really helps me because when I have questions regarding church history, I can go to you.
Well, then you're more theological, so I can go to you for those. So that's nice to have that sort of like academic like bonding together.
Yeah, because I have a hard time with biblicists. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm just kidding. Obviously, the scriptures are primary when it comes to our faith. But it's funny because we get into these conversations concerning church history and theology. And I'm trying to understand, at least from a historical perspective, what was the defining moment for the church to be divided the way that it is today.
Oh, my.
And we've been talking about this for...
the schism, bro. No, the schism was a symptom.
It was a symptom of an underlying problem,
the papacy.
We've talked about the rule of faith. We've talked about the papacy. Yeah. You've been studying the Crusades right now.
I love it. Deus Volt.
Ave Christus Rex.
Ave Christus Rex. Dude, when we were in Florida, and me and Josiah were on the floor together at an event.
Florida State Convention.
Yeah, the Florida State Convention. The floor in Florida. And I can be loud. I think the listeners have picked that up by now. I can be loud. And I just was like, yeah, man. I looked at Josiah. I was like, I'm really into the Crusades right now. And he goes, don't say that.
Especially out of a conservative Southern Baptist church. Well, it was funny because you were talking to an Anglican who had a table. And you said it really loud.
I forgot the Anglican.
Yeah, I'm like really into the Crusades right now. And it's like, dude, it's like at the pinnacle, like MAGA country.
I know.
You can't be doing that in Florida, bro.
Look, man, as far as the Crusades are just rough on everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. Pretty sick, though.
You're like, I want those tattoos.
The imagery. I love symbols, man. Come on. We got all our iconography around here. Josiah and I are probably the only two that at least openly appreciate iconography. Notice I said appreciate. I didn't say worship.
Venerate.
Or venerate. Appreciate iconography. There's just something cool about it, man. Old Christian art's great.
Well, this is the thing that most Christians have a hard time with, is that the early church, the 7 ecumenical councils of the early church, one of them was the iconoclasm controversy. So the church actually made an authoritative decision that icons in and of themselves should be used. They must be used. And I think they took it too far, and they say they must be venerated. Because the idea there was that Christ himself, incarnate, is the image of God.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can make images of the image of God.
Mm-hmm.
And so because God gives images to the Israelites in the temple worship, he gives images in the ark, he gives images in the brass serpent, he gives images.
Yeah.
Then it's not so crazy to think that the early church could have icons or images. Because that's what icon means, is just image.
I'll say this about the theology of venerating an icon. And I've grown much more ecumenical and generous over the years at seminary. Dude, if there's a little grandma somewhere in I don't know, Greece, who's Greek Orthodox.
Yeah.
And that little lady, babushka or whatever it is in Greek, if that little lady loves Jesus and wakes up every morning and looks at her little picture and does whatever, makes all the little hand gestures and is just staring at Jesus going, I love you, Lord. I'm not worthy. They have they actually have things.
Have mercy on me.
Yeah, have mercy on me, a sinner.
Yeah, I am a sinner. Yeah.
They remember things in their,
they're catechized.
They're catechized. And then she goes about her day, and she started every day looking at her little picture of Jesus, but she's venerating him. Ultimately, not, people say, well, no, she's just worshiping a picture. What's the picture represent, man? Yeah. So I'm like, can we really look at her and be like, that's so wrong?
I mean, people can if they want to. I mean, it's I think what happens is the tradition of the Southern Baptist or even Americanism is like it's so anti-Catholic. It's anti anything that resembles Roman Catholicism.
Yeah.
For good reasons. For good reasons.
Well, you and I are definitely more like sympathetic to
Eastern Orthodoxy, that's for sure.
Don't get us starting about talking about Rome.
Even though, man, Eastern Orthodoxy, man, they have some hard stances that I just
that's why we are Baptists.
I know that's why.
But like that's the thing. It's like we don't have to hate everybody that's not Baptist. Oh, the Presbyterians baptizing their babies. I hate you.
Yeah. That was like Eric Cartman.
I hate you. They're baptizing their babies, man.
But that's the thing is like the idea of iconographies in the Eastern Orthodox, they're not 3D, they're 2D or whatever. I don't care. Like the idea there is that we as Baptists don't like them because that's not our tradition.
Yeah, it's weird to us.
In fact, we have very little tradition. And that's
part of our tradition is no tradition, and I think it's
our creed is no creed.
I think it's hurting us ultimately.
No, I agree.
There's something though so impressive.
I know, man.
That we've talked about Baptist, bro. It's that somehow the Baptist church has not completely fallen apart with no tradition, no creeds, no nothing. We haven't fallen apart, and it's literally by pure fidelity to the Word of God.
Pure fidelity to the Word of God. And that's what's amazing to me. And that's why I think sola scriptura is important. I know Eastern Orthodox and Catholic, they reject it, that sola scriptura as defined by the reformers is probably problematic. And maybe there is something to be said that now we have a gluttony of individuals with poor exegesis, poor understanding of the scriptures, poor interpretation of the Word of God, poor orthodox theology. And the reason we have all of these cults is because the abandonment of what's already been established for 2,000 years is now creeping back into the church.
I don't disagree, but I'm just going to offer two counterpoints to the other two mainline churches that claim this. So the Orthodox claims this and Rome claims this.
Yep.
Rome... You ever seen that, like, come get your mans or, like, come get your girl?
Yeah.
I text his wife, or what did I say? I tagged her in something once. Princess, come get come get your man.
Get your mans.
Yeah, so Rome, come get your womans in South America.
Yeah.
You're acting like, well, you're so pure doctrinally, you're all together in unison. No, you're not. The entire continent of South America is supposedly Catholic, and they're all openly syncretistic pagans. Yeah. So don't claim that. And then Orthodox, it's like, okay, man, I got to give them credit. They've done a seriously good job. There's also places where that has fallen apart, though. Look at Russia. Look at the Russian.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, there's definitely some like problems in the political aspects of Eastern Orthodoxy. Much of it is corrupt.
Yes.
Some of it is gay.
In Orthodox?
In Orthodoxy. Not as prevalent as the Roman Catholic Church, but
I didn't know that. I didn't know they had a liberal branch. It's fascinating.
It's not necessarily a liberal branch, but the thing about Eastern Orthodoxy is that they're pretty good at calling it out internally, whereas Rome is not.
No, Rome just pretends everything's okay, and that's all they've done
because they have the Pope.
It's all they've done for the last 1,500 years.
Yeah, but they're cooked. I honestly don't see a repentance from Catholicism.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I go back and forth. You know this. You guys everyone's caught me on a anti-Rome phase right now because I'm reading about the Crusades. And it greatly bothers me. Greatly bothers me. In 1095, after the Council of Clermont, it's November. I want you to set the scene. It's a little cold, a little brisk. In the middle of France. And
Tell the camera right there.
There's a little valley. And Pope Urban II stands up after this, they like excommunicated some people, whatever. And then he tells everybody, hey, the wicked race has taken Jerusalem, the holy city. Go forth and conquer it back in your sins.
Who's the wicked race?
The Seljuk Turks.
I'm just kidding.
It was the Seljuk Turks, I think. Correct. Yeah. Go back and I'll forgive your sins. That's so problematic that
horrible. Yeah.
The Pope is calling for war. What the heck is that?
Yeah.
Not your job, buddy. The Pope tells people, I'll forgive you for sins. What the heck is that? Not your job, buddy.
Right.
I mean,
this is what the 95 Thesis was.
Yes.
This was Martin Luther's call to the Catholic Church, was that the Pope stop abusing his position. He stopped abusing his ability to forgive sins unanimously from himself. Mm-hmm. It's funny because if you were to read the 95 Thesis, it's not that he's saying that the priests cannot offer absolution.
We don't have time to get into
because
that.
Yeah,
no,
I know.
Don't even bring that up.
But he's saying the Pope doesn't have the power himself to make a decree of the forgiveness of sins from his own person.
That's right.
That's the problem.
That's all it is. And remember, they're called originally. This is what I would say to anybody. If I would love to just sit down with an interview with Rome, I don't know who it would be. The Pope's not going to talk to me. Maybe some lower cardinal. I don't know. And I would just say they were reformers. They weren't trying to break away. Yeah. They had to eventually.
Well, it's because Rome doubled down at the Council of Trent.
Yeah, the double down Catholics. Yep. That's all they've done, bro. It's so sad.
Yeah.
And I'm not hating on y'all's grandmas that are Catholic. Mm-hmm. I'm not. They, as I said before, I give the same benefit of the doubt to the Eastern Orthodox grandma as I do to little Catholic grandmas. They're not concerned with what's happening in the big picture. But I am concerned with big picture Rome, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
There was I sent you a clip. Tim Pool has this kind of debate between an Anglican, a Catholic, and an Eastern Orthodox. Now, none of those guys that are on that debate table are like ordained ministers. And that's what's hilarious about it. They're all just kind of like podcast debaters.
Oh, great.
But the debate that they do have is pretty interesting because they do defend their positions relatively well. They do defend it relatively well. But that's all to say that the reason Southern Baptists are not taken seriously in those circles is because we don't make any claim to some kind of succession of church history.
No, and I love it.
We don't make a claim. We don't establish ourselves as the one true church. Mm-hmm. Our hierarchy, or even I don't know if you want to call it a hierarchy. It's not really. It's a Southern Baptist convention that exists for 2 days in some
I know
random conference center.
My favorite thing about the Baptists is that we have the whole structure that these other churches have, but it's all like voluntarily and no one has no power. So like you have your local pastors that are part of associations, right? And then the associations all have a director.
Yeah.
They all have and they have different names, but you essentially have
director of missions, You
essentially have a bishop. Josiah and I always call them when we see the DOMs, the directors of missions. We're always like, "Hey, it's Bishop so and so, Bishop so and so."
And then also, if there's like a state director or like a state president, that's essentially
it's cardinal.
Cardinal.
Yeah. So all the states have multiple associations with depending on how big your state is. Sometimes 30, 40 different associations in it. Yep. So 30, 40 bishops. And then they have the cardinal who's in charge of the whole state.
Yeah.
And then we have 48 cardinals
48.
Total.
Yeah, about.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. And they all come together under Jeff Orge, the executive director of the executive committee.
That's right.
The Baptist Pope. And I need to say, none of them like it. Victor Chirisaban, I think, does embrace bishop because Victor will hang though.
Well, it's a biblical. First of all, if it's a biblical term, it's a church term. The church has always used bishop.
Right.
I don't know why we don't want to use the biblical terms of presbyteros. That's a bishop.
Oh, I know why. Is it Irenaeus' writings? Man, I've been unplugged from early church for a little while. Is it Irenaeus that writes about bishops?
I mean, I'm sure he.
But
does.
it's early.
It's
like early 2nd century.
I know, but what is it that you're trying to reference?
Well, that he writes about bishops existing, and that he describes them as above the pastors.
Oh, perhaps. I'm not 100% familiar, but what I know is that at least from the canons of Nicaea, that's very clear that a bishop has oversight, especially the metropolis bishop.
Yes.
Like the bishop of the major city, he even has more oversight than like the little local bishops.
Yes.
And even he has oversight over like the little pastors or the priests.
There's no perfect ecclesiastical system, but I do greatly respect the Orthodox structure.
Yeah.
I really do. And I know that's probably the most controversial thing I've ever said live. But I proposed this question in my Sunday school class once. When we're not doing a book study, we're doing, we'll do a church history, something, little breakaway. And we were doing different ecclesiastical structures. And I explained the Orthodox, and I explained the Baptist. And then I put a problem in front of us, and I grabbed the different guys. I said, you're pastor here, you're pastor here, you're pastor here, I'm pastor here.
Yeah.
And I said, we're going to go plant a church in Huntington Beach. So we send so-and-so to plant a church in Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
And he goes out, and it launches, he gets a lot of people, and then he turns into a heretic.
Right.
What can we do about it as Baptists?
Other than like a public excommunication at the Southern Baptist Convention.
And they were like, well, we can't do anything. And I said, exactly. And it's really sad what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's really messed up. And he's leading people straight to hell. And I said, however, in the Orthodox position, we now can go report him to the person ahead of us who ideally is a qualified pastor. Like, that's the thing, everyone in this system needs to be a qualified minister. And so when you have someone who has now shown leadership skills and is qualified and gets put into the bishop position, he now has the ability to remove people from the pastorate that have no business being a pastor. And you could say, well, what about congregationalism, Taylor? And that is also a solution to it. Yes. But the hard part of the congregationalism is they could all be corrupt, or not all of them, but enough that you can't get rid of it. So,
here's a spicy take.
Yeah,
ready?
Hit me.
Okay. The Bible and the early church do not promote congregationalism.
Ooh, no, wait.
They don't promote.
Oh, dude, I could beat you in that debate. I could. I no. Dang it! I need to get that off the top of my head.
Okay, so what is the concept of congregationalism? Is that there's a equal vote or voice within the congregation that's equal to that of the.
I wouldn't even get that deep.
Okay.
I would just say there's a agreement among the people that so and so can pastor, or we will do things this way.
Where is that in the scripture?
Yeah, there's a few verses that say present so and so to them and blah. I cannot. If you had told me we were going to have this one, I would have came with receipts.
I'm studying 1 Timothy.
I don't think it's not in 1 Timothy.
I know, but what I mean is I've been studying 1 Timothy. How is Timothy installed as an overseer of the church of Ephesus?
Paul
and elders. Paul and elders. The part that the church is invited to participate is in the agreement of the deacons in Acts.
Yeah.
When they choose the 7.
Yeah.
Then the church says they're in agreement with these particular people. But bishops themselves are not chosen by the church. They're chosen by other bishops. They're installed by other bishops.
So the problem is we've lost that line now, though.
Mm-hmm.
Rome will say, we have that answer. No, you don't. You don't. There's multiple papal succession lines. You don't know which one's right. Don't hit me with that.
Okay, but my point was, so go ahead.
I was just saying we've lost the line now of we could claim that Baptists could potentially claim this back and say, you know what? It's been a mess. It's always going to be a mess till Jesus comes back, but we're going to try to start. We're going to try to start again and start having a little more authority structure in how we place people and in the ordination process. And truthfully, because we're running out of time, as we land the plane, I will say this.
Yeah.
The SBC, if they were to be willing to give a little more power to the organization to oversee ordination, would solve so many issues.
Yeah.
Because people are all up in arms about Pastor Christine as the children's director, you know. Meanwhile, you got Pastor so-and-so who's had an anger problem his whole life, and the whole town knows it. He's completely unqualified. He's slandering the name of Christ. No one is having that discussion at the national level. He's far more of a problem than Pastor Christine.
They're both a problem.
But they're both a problem.
That's
what I'm trying to say.
I see what you mean. It's like they're only dealing with one side of the issue.
You're only dealing with one, and I'll be at the smaller side. Yeah. And so if you just have a little more oversight over ordination, I'm meeting you in the middle here for the congregationalism, and the people need the ordination needs to happen at a higher level. I agree. Who picks the people at the higher level? I don't know. I'll write that paper one day. But yeah.
Well, this was my point. Is that the scriptures never teach that there's an egalitarian voice or vote of the church that needs to happen other than, and it's not a vote, it's just a recognition other than excommunication. That's the only time. That's the only time that it's considered that the church's acceptance should be taken into consideration is excommunication. Other than that, decisions at an ecclesiastical position should be done by pastors and bishops. This is why the SBC convention is so important. This is why I like the SBC. This is not a downplay of SBC. This is why I like SBC, because once a year, these bishops and these pastors and these cardinals and all these people, right, they come together and they make their votes. That's where the vote matters, is amongst the leadership, not amongst the laity. Now, I know that's a spicy take because we've adopted the American idea of democracy and egalitarianism, and we brought it into the American church. And so now we think that congregationalism is a good thing.
Well, but we've done hyper-congregationalism. I'm going to meet you in the middle. I'm trying to meet you in the middle here. Is we have done hyper-congregationalism where now somebody can show up who's a brand new pastor, fresh out of seminary, shows up with his wife and his 2-year-old or whatever, and deacon so-and-so who's been a problem at this church forever.
Right.
Can just destroy him and make his ministry impossible.
Yeah.
And the people listen to deacon so-and-so more than they do their pastor.
That's right. And this is why we have a proliferation of programs, of little councils in the church, little cliques in the church. This is why you have, what are those called when you have a group of people that gather together to make decisions? What are those called? I forget the name of it.
Committee.
Yes, a little committee is everywhere, right? Because now little Sister Debbie can have a little committee of baking the cookies on Sunday.
Yeah.
And now you have to hear everyone's voice about what kind of cookies you should be. It's no. That defeats the purpose of what the bishops are for, the elders are for.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I'll give you a spicy one from me, since we're talking about it.
And I'll end it.
For the record, I support congregationalism. You just never know. But I do think in the New Testament, when they bring the money and we see giving, it's laid at the elders' feet.
Yeah.
Which shows your finance committee, that's the one determining what budgets go where and approving that.
Yeah.
If that committee's not ran by the elders, And I'm not saying you can talk to Miss So-and-so who's got an expert accounting, and they should. A good elder will consult experts
Yes.
in the field. And ideally, your elder is already an expert in finance. But the point is, your pastors are the ones that are supposed to be setting the budget, man. Like,
I know.
not. And I know why. Because real ministry takes real money, right?
Yeah.
And so if the pastors are in charge of what ministry are we going to do, you can't do everything. Mm-hmm. So Pastor Josiah says, the Lord is really leading me. You've got a handful of guys that are ready to jump in at recovery ministry, right?
Yeah.
The Lord's leading me. You're making connections around town. You're like, yeah, all right. The Lord's leading me for this. And you set the budget for next year, and you're ready to dump in a ton of money for recovery ministry. You're going to have pizza parties, maybe host a bike show, whatever. Insert recovery ministry stuff.
Right.
And then the finance committee says, no, we're not doing that. Dude, and that happens all the time.
It happens constantly.
Constantly in our churches. It's that, dude, you're playing with the Lord right there at that point, I think.
Yeah.
Because the Lord put your pastor in place. The Lord gave your pastor that vision, and now you're usurping that power. I don't know. I wouldn't play that.
Well, it's not that spicy of a take as much as you think, but
you don't think so?
No, it's not that. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, honestly, I mean, this idea of like a treasurer who holds the finances,
who's not ordained,
and qualified. There's not like a specific thing in Scripture that says that, but I think it's just wisdom to put an elder in charge because it's about kingdom purposes. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm of the perspective that it should be elder led with congregational input.
Yeah, I've always said
really what it is.
I've said elder led, congregationally governed. You're more hardlined in the elder led congregational input.
Yeah.
Good leaders do take the input of the people under them, though.
Well, of course, yeah.
Like, dude, if your whole if you're said, hey, we're gonna go to SeaWorld for our next vacation, and your whole family goes, I don't want to go see. Little David goes, I want to go to SeaWorld. But everyone else says, we don't want to go to SeaWorld, Josiah. You're going to, sorry, David, we're not going to SeaWorld. But
yeah. If everybody's like, I don't want to go to SeaWorld, and, David's super excited, I'm just going to be like, well, man, let's try to find something else that we're all excited about.
That's right. That's right. And that's being just good leader right there. Boom.
Right. Yeah. Well, man, we're not going to solve the world's problems right now.
We're out of time, too.
But I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, breaking the ice with me.
Dude, it's
on
so
my
fun.
First podcast.
We're going to boost this.
We're going to be doing our own thing. But plug all your stuff right here real quick.
Yeah, man. Really and truly, all I care about is church history for chumps, baby. I don't care. You don't go follow me. I don't really do anything on Instagram. I don't do anything solo. Just check us out on Church History for Chumps. We're starting our Crusade series right now.
Is that on podcasts? Is that on Apple?
Literally
on
Spotify? It's on everything.
It's on everything. You
could probably find it on...
Trying to wolf it?
Probably find it on cable TV if you look hard enough.
It's on satellite.
It's on satellite. It's on TiVo.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, bro.
This has been Reformed Perspective. We'll see you next time.
See ya.